Hi, my name is Allison Belanc. I am the Digital Media and Marketing Manager for Trades Futures, and welcome to ARP Rockstars, a series where we shine a spotlight on standout individuals and programs across the country who are transforming lives through apprenticeship readiness programs. Each story highlights the power of opportunity, training, and determination in building strong futures in the unionized construction trades. Let's meet this month's rock star, Kristina Smith. Hi, Kristina. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, we're so excited to tell your story and to talk more about the Georgia Building Trades Academy. So I'm going to give you all a little insight into Kristina's background. Kristina Smith is a driving force in Atlanta's youth leadership scene, dedicating over 2 decades to empowering communities through education and job training. Since 2012, she has played a pivotal role with YouthBuild, fostering the potential of Atlanta's youth. As director of the Georgia Building Trades Academy, Kristy bridges the gap between underserved communities and promising careers in the building trades, championing accessible pathways to success. Before her current role, Kristy revitalized youth programs with the City of Atlanta, showcasing her dynamic leadership and financial management skills. Kristy holds a master's in technology entrepreneurship from the University of Maryland and a bachelor's in mass communication from Clark Atlanta University. An Atlanta native, Kristy embodies her alma mater's motto, "Find a way or make a way," infusing her life with resilience and determination. Outside of work, Kristy embraces adventure with her husband and 2 children, whether it's navigating the waves or exploring new destinations. So that's such an impressive bio. Now, did you know that you always wanted to get into workforce development?
No, I thought I was going to be working on movie sets. I wanted to make movies. I thought that was my niche. I was going to be traveling around the world. My family comes from a background of education, specifically education in schools. And then there's another half of the family that's in construction. And
Oh,
my
wow.
grandfather built houses in Mississippi. So those two, I guess they're just built in me, and I just fell into this role of workforce development.
Nice, nice. Now, how long have you been in the field?
Well, it seems like forever. Again, it's been about 2 decades almost. I started out randomly getting introduced to someone at the Workforce Development Agency in Atlanta. And that conversation grew. And I think at that time I was looking for a different type of employment, and it was training youth in the construction industry. And then from there, it just kind of took off. I ended up running into Randy Beal, our executive director, and we started working together on projects for youth. And he said, I'm really looking for building a strong pipeline of young people who are interested in the construction industry. And I said, well, do tell. That's exactly what I do. And it just became a wonderful relationship. I came over to the building trades and still able to really not drop a beat, really move the program further, still collaborating with the City of Atlanta and able to provide quality training with the support of our executive director, Randy Bill, who was also over the building trades, who will be retiring soon. So I'm a little sad. He still will be working with the Academy.
Okay. Yeah, no, good for him. No, thank you for sharing that. So how many participants would you say the Georgia Building Trades Academy has transitioned into registered apprenticeship over the years?
We started in 19 during the pandemic, and it was a very challenging. Our first group, I believe we served during that year, that grant year, we were serving around 66 participants. And during that, maybe about a small percentage of those were able to go in the trades. And a lot of that had to do with being able to be together and having that hands-on experience. Fast forward to now, I have about 80% placement rate, mainly
Great.
because we're able to see each other and work hands-on to prepare young people to enter the trades. I think that's the whole highlight of having a Trades Future program, that you're preparing these young people for our future. And so far, we've been lucky. I've been able to see so far this year, 3 of our participants have become journey persons. And if anybody doesn't know, that takes about 4 to 5 years for them to complete a full apprenticeship. So we're very proud to say that we have about an 80% placement rate.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And I'm sure that so many lives that are being changed through you all's program and your work. And yeah, that's fantastic. So I would like to give our viewers a little history into the Georgia Building Trades Academy. So the Georgia Building Trades Academy is a 501c3 training organization dedicated to providing Georgia citizens with the education and employment opportunities that will lead to a successful career in the construction industry. The Academy is designed to prepare these individuals to enter and succeed in registered apprenticeship programs, which are gateways to strong middle-class jobs in the U.S. construction industry. The Academy is supported by the Atlanta and North Georgia Building Trades Council, 19 affiliate construction unions, and their Joint Apprenticeship Training Committees, or JATCs, in partnership with community groups, contractors, and government agencies. The goal of the Academy is to increase the number of qualified candidates for apprenticeship and increase retention rates across apprentices by providing them with a deeper understanding of the industry and the role of craft unions in construction. Kristina, I'd like to jump into some questions to understand more about your work as well as your program. So how does your apprenticeship readiness program prepare participants for direct entry into registered apprenticeship programs?
Well, our first thing is that we start off with a mental toughness, and that's about a 2-week orientation, if you will, for young people to come in and try it out. A lot of young people may not be sure if construction is what they want to do. So before I jump into anything, I say, hey, let's try it out for a week. Let's see if it's a good fit for you, and vice versa. And then from there, the world opens up. If we decided this is a great candidate and they choose us and we choose them, our program is 6 months. And I know we're like 6 months pre-apprenticeship, we're getting that young person ready. Our main focus is making sure that the MC3, the multi-craft core curriculum, is introduced. And once they go through, a lot of the hands-on starts to come into the play, and then we're able to do projects inside the community using what they learned through the curriculum. I think hands-on is the most important part of our program. We not only go into the community, but we're also working with the Atlanta Housing Authority, helping them build a 120-unit mixed income facility for housing. And so this gives a variety for our young people to be able to train on, so before they go into the trades. Their first 3 months, they get their credentials. And then the last 3 months, if they don't have their GED, we're working constantly trying to make sure that they earn their GED for placement. And then the next thing, of course, is making sure that they get their driver's license. And that's a big, important part. Since the pandemic happened, I remember being a young person, I really wanted to drive. And there was no Lyft. There was no Uber. And these young people are like, oh, I need a license, because you can get to a Uber or Lyft wherever you need to go, but it's important to have a driver's license. So we have a driving school that is incorporated into our program to make sure they're fully prepared, which picks them up from wherever location they're in, give them those driving lessons, and also test them in the same vehicle. So this also, you get your hands on, you're working in the community, your driver's license, and if you don't have your GED or high school diploma, you're getting that with us. And within that 6-month period, you have turned almost into you have grown into a new person or a new version of yourself that's ready to be placed in the trades. And we have a job placement person. She's really a career specialist. Her name is Kristina Mullins, and she works with our participants to make sure that they're smoothly entering into whatever trade out of the 15 trades that young person is interested in.
I love that. I love that. It sounds to me like you all are really created this very well-rounded approach to set them up for success and really taking away some of those barriers. I think, especially when we think of where construction sites are located specifically, an Uber might not always be the most advantageous option because some of these sites can be a bit far, which is very costly when you're paying for Ubers. And I think just even beyond that, let's say, for instance, a student decided, I've been through the program, but I think I maybe want to do something else. Okay, that's fine, but at least they've gotten some of those, life necessities underway. And then it's just in the confidence building as well to have gone through a program like that. I also really like what you touched on with the mental toughness piece, because I do think that's important. I think it's important to give participants time to decide, hey, do I have the rigor for this? Is this something that I really want to do? And there's always, obviously time to change your mind, but I like that because it just sounds to me like you all have created a pathway that provides people, there's an evolution to it, where it's okay, let me decide if this is a fit. If it is, let me continue to move forward. Let me make sure I've got my ducks in a row. I've got my GED, I've got my driver's license. So it's really you're really clearing a lot of these barriers, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, we're actually able to bring to the forefront what career exploration should be. I think a lot of times you're thinking about, what do I want to be when I grow up? And you have this idea in your mind, what you think it is. And then when you get there, you're realizing, well, this isn't so much what I wanted. At our academy, we provide a real life situation where you come in, you're going to learn, and you're going to go to work. Same as apprenticeships.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to actually we have different unions come in and show different
Mm-hmm.
trades and talk about what their paycheck looks like. What was their experience like the first time they ever stepped on a work site? So that helps with the anxiety, building bridges,
Mm-hmm.
and really preparing the young people to be placed and not having some ideology of what they think it should be. And that's what helps that
Mm-hmm.
retention piece, that you have a realistic view of what's really happening. And it's not sugar like any work. There are good days and bad days, but we
Mm-hmm.
also take the whole student approach that it's your job to make it a good day. And it's your job to
Yeah.
keep yourself safe and everyone else around you. And if you start with you, it's infectious. It'll go throughout the work site.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It sounds like it's such a strong support system. And to be able to, I agree with you, career exploration is something that's extremely vital and really understanding like what I'm signing up for. So it's not a surprise or a shock when you get on the job site. So I think you all's approach is really phenomenal. So I have another question for you. What are the key benefits of offering direct entry pathways for youth?
Well, I'll tell you, we're talking about youth, 18 and up, probably around 24. And I don't know if you met an 18 to 24-year-old person, you're still trying to figure life out. What does that look like
Mm-hmm.
for you? And I think the key benefits for this direct entry, it provides structure. It provides a real world expectation for these direct pathways. And you're able to use your hands-on learning. So if we're doing um, painters and glazers, if we're doing sheet metal, if we're doing electrical, you get the actual feeling of what it would be like to do that job. And that direct
Mm-hmm.
pathway also builds bridges with our partners, I mean, at the local unions and the local hall that come out and mentor our young people. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
relationship building connection is the best. So that direct pathway helps them leap barriers where if they would have come off the street, they probably would have maybe worked as a helper. They're not doing so well as a helper because they didn't have those fundamentals to actually move forward. They want to go to apprenticeship school, but they're not sure what to expect. We
Mm-hmm.
lay the foundation for that pathway so that through this pathway they become journey persons and they're more successful at it than starting from somewhere else from scratch. A lot of times when they finish our program, you may start off level as a start off as an apprentice level one, like in the electrical
Mm-hmm.
union, which is a leaps and bounds of where you started. So you have a catapult trajectory to be able to make it further in your career. And I tell you, once you get started and you see a clear path, a clear vision, most of our young people don't falter. They continue on that pathway and they're
Mm-hmm.
very grateful to have that direct pathway where it's laid out for you. I remember when I went to school, there were so many different directions I was going in. Every direction you go, you have to start off from the bottom. Then you have to build these new relationships up again. One thing
Mm-hmm.
about the building trades is that there's a lot of different trades. You may be on a work site, and I've had this happen. A young
Mm-hmm.
person starts off as an electrician, and then they are eyeing the iron workers. And they're like, I
Mm-hmm.
your iron worker. And I'm like, well, let's have a conversation. And so we had a conversation between the two business managers. And luckily enough, it just was a smooth transition. And they didn't have to start off from the bottom. They were having those safe relationships and those strong partnerships of understanding of what work life and balance looks like for them. And so
Right.
that whole pre-apprenticeship, this is why we create those pathways for sustainability. We want to be able to have our our people that we train in the trades until they retire. And I will say now, it's kind of like not like that right now. Some people will go to work 2 years, switch a job, 2 years, switch a job, and
Mm-hmm.
that longevity is not there. And it's important for the trades that we have a pathway for retention of this knowledge of passing down what it's like to be on a work site. There's certain things you cannot learn on the books that you have to be an apprentice to learn.
Right, right, right. That makes a lot of sense. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things I think about the MC3 and apprenticeship readiness is that there is the openness to be like, hey, like I'm being exposed to all the trades and I might, maybe I started out doing one thing and I think I want to do something else. Like being able to have that flexibility and that option, I think is really, fantastic because yes, I am someone who's just a jack of all trades type of person anyway. So if it were me in the program, I know I'd be changing my mind like 3, 4 times, like, so I already like, so I'm just like, when you like, so I get it. But that's fantastic. And especially the fact that they're learning from industry professionals. I think that is a fantastic aspect to the work as well. So that leads me to my next question. How does having trade professionals and industry experts leading the classes, how does this impact the quality of training and the overall success of your students?
I think it puts that professional touch on them, that what they say, chef's kiss. It's one thing about training under someone who kind of knows what they're doing. It's a difference when you have an expert in that field. I think all of us want that master class. And that's what this is. It's a master class from skilled tradespersons who've been doing it 20 years, 30 years, and they're coming back and they're mentoring and sharing their experiences, going ahead and saying, hey, don't leave your tool belt anywhere because when you come back, it may not be there when you come back. Those kind of soft skills as far as dexterity with your hands. And people don't know how important it is to be able to move your hands in a certain way so you're not dropping a lot of things on a work site. I think that if we all got a chance to study under a master, a craftsman, I mean, it's hands down. I was like, sign me up. I think it eliminates a lot of mistakes early on in the game. We like to do it right the first time.
Right.
If we practice doing it right the first time and you're being led by professionals in the industry, then you go far. And even when things change, there might be something that changes and it updates. You have firsthand knowledge from an experienced tradesperson to help you with that.
No, that's fantastic. And I think even just from a learning style standpoint, I'm sure you've probably noticed, and I would venture to say that just being able to be hands-on in the learning is, I mean, I think a lot of people that get into apprenticeship and in the trades, that's more of their learning style. So it's just, it probably resonates so much more deeply than if it was solely just classroom instruction. And yeah, and I know most of us are like, I want to learn from someone who's an expert in the field. Like I'm more apt to take guidance and advice from someone who's actually living the path that I'm trying to do, rather than someone who's not really been like hands-on in it. Not that they might not have something knowledgeable to say, but I think the majority of us would be like, okay, this person's walking the walk. I'm trusting what they're saying to me. So beyond the technical skills, how do your instructors and support staff mentor students to ensure they transition successfully into registered apprenticeships and long-term careers in the trades?
It first starts off with that when you walk into the Building Trades Academy, you own being in the academy. You own the relationships, that you just don't come in and walk by us and don't say, hello, how's your day? How is it going? We have a personal, genuine relationship because we understand that at the foundation of everything, we're all building relationships. And this is what we want to be able to do. If you need additional training, we want you to be able to come back and say, hey, I need some additional training. I didn't do well on the work site. Can you please help me? I want to be able to have that safe training space amongst our staff that says, hey, we have a construction trainer, we have a construction manager, we have a case manager, we have a program manager, a career specialist that is all invested in that one person. Imagine if you had a team like that behind you and you are taking a training class, and then you've got master tradespersons, and then you have this support from the academy, that your confidence level on what you can do boosts so high that you're like, I know when I go to work, I'm going to be successful. I know that if I don't do something right, or if I make a mistake, I can come back and get retrained. Or if I did something great, I can come back and say, hey, I've moved on to apprentice level 2. These are the things that we want the academy to feel like home. Just like your home, you're in your training, you are in your safe zone, being able to learn and grow.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that community specifically, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about unionized construction in general is just that fostering of like deep community and support. You know, your background not being a hindrance to where you're going. I think that's another major factor because, you know, a lot of the people that for these programs serve, this could be the first time for a lot of these families that someone's stepping into lucrative financial, you know, pay. And, you know, feeling like you're not alone, feeling like you have support, that someone believes in you. I don't, it's such a powerful thing. Like just one person, I feel, believing in someone else and just backing them on a dream, like, the sky's the limit. So, you know, the fact that you all have such a well-rounded support system for these youth, I'm sure it doesn't go unnoticed or unfelt. Especially as that's the time in their lives where your confidence is really like it's precarious, you know?
Yes.
Like you're really trying to find out who you are. And I don't know if that journey ever really stops, but especially at that age. So it sounds to me like you all have created such a wonderful support net for these youth. And I mean, it's phenomenal. It really is. So, Kristina, how does the Georgia Building Trades Academy collaborate with local unions, contractors, and employers to place graduates into successful apprenticeship opportunities across the state?
It's our Building Trades Council. They have been behind us 100%. Will report out to the building trades who was placed in each individual trade.
Mm-hmm.
Think for them to see them. I have pictures of all of them in our conference room, so they're able to see what new talent is coming in, and it's almost a competition at this point that they're like, oh, I'm coming to speak, oh, please have them come tour our facility,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
they are wanting our young people. And I think that's a very important thing, where sometimes where you're going to work for a job and you're probably have a lot of resumes that you put out there for
Mm-hmm.
traditional jobs, whereas this is a job in a career pathway that they really want you. They want you to come work with them. They want to be able to build this longevity. They want to be able to be a part of building whatever history the city of Atlanta or surrounding areas in Georgia are being a part of, and being part of that culture. And so that makes it work in a sense that they really support and want to know. I'll get a phone call. Hey, when do you think you'll have some graduates? I have some job openings coming out.
Love
And
that.
I think that's almost unheard of outside of the construction industry right now. I mean, but there are a lot of people who are looking for certain jobs, and it's like, hey, you're missing the mark here. What trade is where it is. We got to keep these lights on. We have to keep our infrastructure. These are the good paying jobs that seem to get overlooked, that are out there every day, and that sense of community, and they really want to work with you. So I think that's the best part of the academy, and our partners, our industry partners outside the union, even our community partners. They really want to come together to make sure that our community stays well. Our community is looking good, and we have good buildings, and we have strong infrastructure. So I would say that's probably the best part about it, of being wanted and being needed. It makes this relationship work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And feeling like the hard work that you're putting in, the time, the hours, it's really you're gonna have somewhere to land with it, you know,
Yes.
and knowing that the more that you stick with it and the more you move forward, you know, with progressive wages, it's just gonna keep evolving, which is fantastic. You know, you've got your union benefits. And another beautiful thing that we didn't touch on was the fact that it's debt-free. This is debt-free education right here, you
Debt-free
know, like
education. And what I'm telling this program to a potential candidate, it almost doesn't sound real what I'm offering. I'm
right.
like, hey, you have an opportunity, no cost education. We're here to support you. And every graduation, I even give a vehicle away. So
Oh, that's awesome.
our community partners, it might be a local employee, will donate a vehicle to the best performing pre-apprentice, and they're able to use that vehicle to go to work. And it's
I
like,
love that.
else with they help you with your driver's license, help you get your certifications, help you with career exploration. I
Hmm.
don't believe I've seen anything out there that exists to date. I haven't seen anything like it.
I would agree with you. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for telling us that. I didn't know that you all did that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I think especially with unionized construction, I think the big key, and from everything you're telling me specifically with you all's program, is that the humanity comes first. It's
Yes.
looking at you as like a all around person. And what does this person, not just a worker, what does this person need to succeed? Not only from a professional standpoint, but emotionally, mentally, like what does that person need to really be, their best self in this space? And yeah, the fact that you all are doing that, I mean, you're killing it. You're killing it. You're killing it. That is amazing. Okay, so I guess we're down to our final question. The last question that I have is, what are the three most gratifying aspects of the work?
Let's say number one is providing a safe space to learn. We have a lot of not only young people, but women who are interested in the trades and in
Mm-hmm.
maybe a non-traditional type of employment or skill that they're learning. But I want it to be it's a safe space to learn and grow. And I think you need that pocket sometimes to be able to explore what you like, what you don't like, what your skills
Mm-hmm.
are before you're in front of an employer and you haven't even figured it
Mm-hmm.
out yet. So I like that part about us. And I would say that the second thing is our partnerships, our community. I think I haven't been a part of anything like it, that the pathways of growth are laid out in front of you. All you have to do is show up, have a great attitude, and continue to learn, and you continue to grow. Even outside you becoming a journey person, you could still decide, I want to be a foreman, I want to own my own business and work with the trades. I think the possibilities are endless. So I think that community and that structured pathway is what I like as well. And then the last thing I would say is the ability to watch our participants start from the very, very beginning, which a lot of employers don't get to see. I get to see that. I get to see you come in as a young person trying to figure out what you want to do, to then becoming a journey person. And that transformation is like night and day. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching young men develop into men, young women turning into
Mm-hmm.
women. And it's a wonderful thing to watch and watch them grow. Because when they come in the door, it's like, oh my gosh, you've been eating
Mm-hmm.
well. You're strong, you're healthy. And I think
Right.
that's one of the things I really enjoy.
No, that makes so much sense, and just watching people become more empowered and embodied in like their strength and being able to create a life for themselves that is going to be fiscally sound and rooted in community and work that they can enjoy. I think that, yeah, you all are doing really amazing work, and it's been wonderful having you on today. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. Please let our viewers know where they can find out more about the Georgia Building Trades Academy.
Please check us out on our website at B as in boy, TA.org. That's for the Georgia Building Trades Academy. We are located in downtown Atlanta, but it doesn't hinder where you can work. Whenever you enter a trade, the world is your oyster. You can travel and work anywhere you want to work. If you're interested in our program, please check us out. We have an apply now button on our page. And if you'd like to donate, we love that too. And if you're an employer and you have a vehicle you would like to give away at our next graduation, I think that would highlight and top the cake for us as well.
I'm gonna second that. Yeah. So if you're watching and you've got a car to donate, donate. So thank you guys so much for viewing and tuning in today. If you like this type of content, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you again, Kristina, for being here. And yeah, we'll see you next time.